Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday with your host, James Chen. I am sitting at an awkward angle right now because you can probably see the lump right here that is twitching and now raising his tail. There is the cat ear, and okay, here we go. Ugh. It's Nathan already. It's Nathan all along. So, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are enjoying all the fighting game content that's been going on out there for everybody. There's so much happening right now during these holiday weeks, and it's been very confusing to keep track of a lot of this stuff. So, in particular, if you remember last week, I did a World Warrior recap of a bunch of people who qualified last week. I think last week I covered, was it 7 or 8 people who actually qualified during that the past week. Well, we actually have a whole nother 14 people who have qualified since last week, because literally we just had the onslaught of World Warrior finals this past weekend, and so the qualifications don't stop, and so we're going to do another recap here this weekend. 14 players who have qualified now, so that is giving us a much clearer idea of what to expect and who is going to be in there and what characters it's going to end up being. So let's actually go through these one by one in the order that basically everybody qualified for. And again, really want to give a shout out to Super Yan, really using her spreadsheet here to keep track of everything as closely as possible. You can find her at super__Yan, which is YAN, and basically we'll have all of the qualifiers listed over there. So definitely a very, very useful resource. Other people have been keeping track of it as well, as such as Incross, who's been keeping track of everything also on Liquidpedia. So a lot of good resources out there for keeping track. You can also check Capcom Fighter's actual Capcom Pro Tour website to see who's qualified. But let's go ahead and move over to the other screen over here. And as you can see right here, literally this past weekend was these guys. All of these guys qualified in the past weekend. So let's go through these one by one. And we're going to start here with, this is going to be the South Korea Regional Finals Top 8. And as I did last week, shout outs to Spirit Zero, by the way. These are the guys who streamed this. This is on their YouTube as well. But basically, we're going to go through each one of these matches, the last game of each match, one by one, to see who qualified. And in this particular instance, we are going to have Lashar from Korea qualify here after an ad plays. Well, you know what? I mean, I can't be mad as a YouTube content creator. You just gotta have to understand that they are useful. Here we go. So this is Lashar on player one side with the classic Chun-Li, and Armper on player two side with the Ken. And as we've talked about, Chun-Li is definitely starting to move up more and more in the esteem of a lot of the Street Fighter 6 players. And she is getting stronger and stronger as the game continues to develop. So I know a lot of people have believed that we've kind of known exactly where the game is going already, but the tier lists are still shaking up here. I mean, if Armper did play Luke, I mean, he switched to Ken here, maybe because he was having trouble getting past Lashar. But you can see here, Lashar taking round number 1 pretty convincingly over Armper with this Chun-Li. And like I said, it's interesting because I really do feel like Chun-Li... Oh, God, that was such a late whiff punish. Holy crap. But I mean, as you can see, one of the reasons why Chun-Li is so good, her buttons are amazing, especially that stand light punch. That stand light punch is probably one of the best stand light punches in the game, if not the best. It's her third strike light punch too, which is funny because it has the same animation as her third strike standing light punch. So she kept that from Street Fighter 3 when she transitioned to Street Fighter 6. But Ken will Ken still. Safe jump setup for Ken. And oh, the corner pressure. The corner pressure. Ken's corner pressure is so ridiculous, but I mean, that's the thing. That's why I feel like you can't be strong in this game unless you have really good corner pressure. But that's the reason why I also believe that your character has to have an OD wake-up move as well, because the corner pressure is so strong for so many characters that without an OD wake-up, you don't have that fear that you can put into your opponents, basically. And things look like they were going Armper's way here, but now all of a sudden Lashar with the slow comeback, the corner push, and again, one of the things that makes Chun-Li so strong now is the fact that, you know, she has probably the best suite of supers, one of the best suite of supers in terms of having pure damage and in terms of having no, what do you call it, having no install supers. And yeah, YouTube being very aggressive with the ads here. And burns herself out. So this is a scary situation for Lashar. But again, 2 level 2s in a row in one round, which is really nice to have. And there you see it right there. Just on the back. Was that like a single hit confirm here? How did he get that? Was that a whiff punish? Let's see. How did he get this hit here? Oh, God. That basically was a single hit confirmed, but he saw the whiff right there, and so he just kind of knew what he had. And so there you go. Lashar qualifies from South Korea. So that's our first qualifier out of 14. Again, there's a lot of qualifiers here. So let's get through these guys quickly, one after another here. Salt Mine League. Shoutouts to Redis. This is the Europe Northeast region here. And this is really, I mean, shoutouts to Redis and the Salt Mine League guys. They ran 3 World Warrior qualifying tournaments this weekend alone. So this is the first time we're going to see Salt Mine League. You can check them out on Twitch and on YouTube. Just look up Salt Mine League. Very easy to find.
We're getting it. Don't worry, we're getting it.
But what's interesting here is that this is going to be Mirkin versus Phenom. And I know Phenom has beaten Mirkin here in the Salt Mine League, you know, a couple of times in Grand Finals. But they're meeting up here in Grand Finals again. And as you can see here, Mirkin using the Luke. And Phenom has already qualified with the Ken. So Phenom is actually gatekeeping here at this point, because if I'm not mistaken, Phenom qualified through the CPT online already. So I think this is guaranteed Mirkin was going to qualify. But as we saw last week with all the gatekeepers, the player who wasn't the gatekeeper actually ended up winning the majority of the time. So there's something very nice about winning your way into Capcom Cup as opposed to defaulting your way into Capcom Cup. So I'm sure Mirkin would love to be able to take this directly from Phenom rather than just going in there. But like I said, Ken corner pressure is so strong. It's so strong. Right, and again, anybody who's mad about the gatekeeping has to understand that, dude, there's $2,500 on the line, dude. Let the players go and make their money, man. Just let them do it. But Phenom is on a tear right now until that level 3. And that was a beautiful delayed drive rush button right there. Catch Phenom twitching. So Mirkin still has a chance to actually qualify directly as opposed. Oh, but see, here we go. Phenom gets the hit. And unfortunately for Mirkin, that means he didn't qualify for Capcom Cup directly. So Phenom, obviously a player who's extremely strong, is going to end up finishing the gatekeep essentially and defeat Mirkin here. But because he has already qualified, Mirkin does end up making it into Capcom Cup. So there you go. And then we move to probably one of the most hype grand finals that we've seen from World Warrior. This is World Warrior East finals. I watched the entire top 8 last night. Again, this tournament had Zaffarino and Space Boy and Idom and Punk and Knuckle Dew and Mena RD. I mean, this tournament was absolutely insane. So US East is so stacked. I mean, Mena, Punk, Knuckle Dew, and Idom all playing in the same region. And Banana Ken was in here as well. And Idom even beat Banana Ken's JP with his own Manon. But unfortunately, I mean, Punk set Mena RD to loser's bracket early on in the top 8, looking dominant. But then Mena RD found his way and was able to take Punk out in losers finals and to come all the way back here. He did come to the loser side. He then reset the bracket versus Knuckle Dew in game number 5. And then in the second set, we've reached another game number 5. And so this is literally the final game of this tournament here. And sure enough, Mena RD stuck with the Blanca the entire time versus Knuckle Dew's Guile. Yeah, and I know a lot of these players are saying, because US East CPT Online is still coming up. That hasn't played yet, so players like Knuckle Dew and Punk still have a chance to make it into Capcom Cup. But if Knuckle Dew or Punk doesn't make it through that online, I don't know if they're going to the last chance qualifiers. There's actually a possibility that, you know, they're just going to chalk it up to can't make it in this year and hope for a different format next year. Yeah, so Mena did try to pick JP in the first set. He picked him once when it was 1-1, but Knuckle Dew beat him. And so Knuckle Dew went up 2-1, and Mena RD then switched back to Blanca 1-2 straight to reset the bracket. And you see right there, that crouching medium punch from Blanca is so good, as you can see Knuckle Dew right now at match point. But Blanca gun Blanca, as you can see here, Blanca's just going to do his thing. And then he gets to set up another Blanca-chan. Oh, and now, oh boy. I still don't know how Knuckle Dew did that autocorrect on that flash kick right there. That was some timing to make sure that Blanca had passed over you. But we actually go to final game, final round here. This was streamed on OG Jan's channel, by the way. And so here we go. Final game, final round. And that was the sickest link in the world. I have to highlight this again. Look at this. He got a counter hit on a Sonic Boom and linked into drive rush jab all the way into the level 3. And here we go. Boom. And things are looking bleak for Mena. Can you imagine a Capcom Cup without two-time champion Mena RD? Knuckle Dew is just closing this round out like this. Look how solid he's playing. But then again, Blanca has level 2. So look at the chip damage that Knuckle Dew is taking from level 2 because he's burned out. And there's a no escape drive impact here. I mean, Mena RD literally, I think, could kill him if he could build up to a level 1. Instead, he goes for the setup over here. And he can throw you in the middle of the Blanca Chan bounce. Look at this. You block one hit of the Blanca Chan here. Block. And he throws you before the Blanca Chan hits you again. And Mena RD with the comeback. And he qualifies. And Knuckle do 2 sets in a row. Just missing qualifying for Capcom Cup. So that was brutal for Mena RD. Shout out to DF Pulse and Hizzle for the commentary. But again, this was streamed on OG Yon's channel, as you can see right here. Oh, hard to see. OGYAWN. They run the Carryout Clash as well. But yeah, it was... Yeah, so Mena did say that he won't enter CPT East for the money. I mean, he's already won $500,000 thanks to Street Fighter. So I don't think Mena RD is hurting for that $2,500 he could win there. So yeah, he's definitely not going to be entering that online premiere, and gonna leave it to Punk, Knuckle Do, and Idom to try to make it. So no, this one is US West. This is US East. So this one coming up is literally only for US. So no Canada in this one, because Canada had its own Canada West and Canada East. Canada East took place last week, where what was it? Who took it over Flux Waves? It was Joe Uma Rogan took it over Flux Waves. So that happened last week, basically. Pretty sure it's supposed to be the home address. And so then we move over to the Asia East regional finals, which includes areas like Hong Kong and Taiwan. We have another gatekeep scenario here with Chris Wong playing in the grand finals against Uma 327. Chris Wong is the Luke who got second place at the Singapore offline premiere, and then first place at the France offline premiere. So he's pretty much like one of the best in the world right now, having achieved that. And so no surprise he makes it here in grand finals, but he's gatekeeping Uma. Now, if you've watched a lot of the ICFC's Asias that we've done on 10-O's channel that I've commentated with, you know that Uma is one of the strongest juries there are. And Uma here is going to try to qualify by not defaulting and losing to Chris Wong. He's already in, but as you can see here, up 2-0. Whoa, that was loud. Up 2-0, no spoilers here about who wins. Surprise here. But yeah, Uma with probably one of the strongest juries that I know of. I love watching his jury. Jury has to play very fundamentally, but Uma also has a lot of very jury things that, you know, he knows. He has a lot of really evil jury tricks out there. So he's one of my favorite juries to watch for sure. But yeah, it's really nice to see a character like Jury get more representation now. She's had a few representations. Nephew is in there already, for example. But to get more, you know, over some Lukes and such. But look at this. Uma with the first round, just absolute domination here. Yeah, managed to get in with the drive rush. Oh, but Luke gonna Luke right here. Yeah, Uma was the Season 1 champion of ICFC and then fell just short in Season 2 to F-Champ, actually. F-Champ's Dalsum, but Uma was second place right behind F-Champ. Oh, Wake Up Super from Chris. Luke gonna Luke. And so now Uma's got to find a way in. Look at this, gets the throw. And again, just like Blanco with that level 2. Oh boy, a shimmy here. Oh, he didn't even activate the level 2. But can he make this comeback here? Is he actually going to make this comeback here? Oh, there it is. Baits out the DP. Chris tried to steal his turn in this situation right here. So look at this. Yeah, he just hoping to go through the 2 jabs in a row, but Uma actually only got 1 jab, managed to block and baits out the DP, and Uma from Taiwan qualifies for Capcom Cup. And again, since I've seen him so much in ICFC and I really love his jury, I think he's one of the strongest juries out there. It actually makes me very happy to see him qualify for this. So congratulations. This was streamed on Fireman Ruby's channel over here. You can see it's on their YouTube already, but also support them on Twitch. I believe this one was streamed on Aubi Cup. Oh, actually, it's just Fireman Ruby 2 is what it is. So Fireman Ruby 2 is what it was streamed on over there. But shout outs to Uma. Oh, cool. Thank you for catching us live for the first time, Hammered Wookie. Appreciate it. Hammered Wookie. That's all I'm going to think. A small part of Canada. Are you talking about the Canada East lurker spine? The world, gosh, what was it though? I know Canada and US were linked in something. I can't remember now. So, but then we're going to move to the Middle East here for Slash and Dash. This is streamed on V/Esports. So keep in mind, of course, that Big Bird has qualified. He won the CPT Online last weekend. Angry Bird has also already qualified for winning Evo. And so here in the grand finals, Fandroid is going up against Big Bird in this situation. And I don't think this is the last match here. I think I missed the last match over here. Yeah, I have the wrong set here. So let's actually go over here and get us to the proper last set. If YouTube wants to actually show up. YouTube. There we go. If I'm not mistaken. So you saw earlier, Fandroid was rocking the Ken. I think the Ken over here. So yeah, Fandroid was rocking the Ken. And he decides to switch over to DJ over here against Big Bird. Big Bird came from loser's bracket. Big Bird came from loser's bracket, was able to reset, and then goes up 2-0. But again, Big Bird has already qualified. Oh, so it is CPT US Canada East? Is that what it is? North America East? I'm not 100% sure with the CPT thing. Oh, it is US Canada. Okay, so the World Warrior is separate, but the CPT US is combined together. I see. Right. So the CPT Online is US Canada. The World Warriors are separate for Canada and for US. But Big Bird reset the bracket 3-0 against Fandroid and is working just basically to 3-0 him again in the grand finals reset. So obviously Big Bird, one of the strongest players in the country, really kind of taking it to Fandroid at this point. Now Fandroid has already qualified because Big Bird qualified already, but you'd like to go out showing that you have the ability to, you know, keep up with someone like Big Bird. But Big Bird, again, it's Big Bird. It's not very many people on the planet can keep up with Big Bird at all. So you can see Big Bird having won the first set to reset the bracket 3-0. Not sure who actually sent him to loser's bracket, but he is here in the loser side, and he's basically trying to 6-0 Fandroid here in grand finals. Oh, dang, that was a bad confirm from Big Bird's side over there. Oh, But DJ is gonna DJ. God, why does that work? Crouch heavy punch, punish, counter, stand heavy punch, link into crouch light punch. Why does that work? Safe jump. Good defense from Big Bird. And yeah, Fandroid going from Ken to DJ. Interesting switch there. And like I said, it's... Oh, no! He thought he could link it into the up kicks, but he was still too far. And so Big Bird, yeah, ends up 6-0ing Fandroid here in Grand Finals. But again, and shout outs to Slash and Dash right here. Again, streamed on v/esports Twitch channel over here. This is on YouTube, however. I went to the YouTube channel to get it, and if I couldn't, then I went to the Twitch archive. But this is on the v/esports channel here on YouTube, and then on Twitch, it's v/esports, all one word. But Big Bird, oh, it was Abood B-Boy sent Big Bird to losers. 3-0, wow, okay, impressive. Who was Abood using? Curious what the character matchup was. But Big Bird comes back, takes it, and oh, Luke. Okay, so Abood uses Luke. But Fandroid is the one that qualifies, so now he's in Capcom Cup as well. Back to Salt Mine League number 2. This is for Europe West. And this grand finals ends up being Takamura versus Libro. And Takamura, of course, I've always said is one of the best in the EU. In Street Fighter V, he was so close to just being like literally one of the, like, of that level of being, you know, like a Problem X, like an Ending Walker, etc., etc. And I think he's pretty close still. So Takamura obviously very, very strong here. Probably the favorite coming into this event, I would imagine so. As you can see here, he's up 2-1 in grand finals. From the winner side, hasn't been sent to losers at all. And then gets the shimmy at the end.
Capcom Cup qualifying points.
Capcom Cup qualifying point, as the commentators said. Oh, nice perfect parry. I think that's Jammers and Ringe who are doing the commentary here. He was pumping for the super to stop the drive impact, and he still got hit by it. Oh, I'm sure he's waiting for Akuma. Takamura is a big Akuma fan, so we might as well use the closest thing right now, which is this Ken. Ken is so strong. We got the burnout over here. Got to be worried about the drive impact, though, but instead just catches him with the crouching medium kick. Now just needs one more mix-up here. I like that wake-up crouching light kick from Libro, but nothing else came out of it, unfortunately. Can't really cancel that into anything. What? And then he chips him to death. And there you go. Takamura is going to advance. And he's going to win the tournament. And he is now qualified in Capcom Cup. And again, shout outs to Salt Mine League. That's the second of 3 tournaments that they ran this weekend. But yeah, Takamura, no surprise right there with the Ken qualifying. Then we go to South America East. And this was streamed on UAFG here. I couldn't find this on their YouTube. But UAFG of the streets, basically, De La Calle, is the name of their events over here and their group here, as you can see from their logo. But they have, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's Shaka and Liito. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I believe they are both from Argentina. So let me see, Argentina flag. Let me just make sure. Yeah. So both players are from Argentina, and I'm pretty sure that's what the A in UAFG stands for. Like Laito or Laito. Yeah, probably Laito is probably more what it is. So But Shaka and Leito from, Leito from Argentina, going up against each other here. And what's really interesting about this is that, you know, obviously, as you can see, Shaka being up 2-1, and we're watching the last game. So by logic deduction, that means Shaka's going to make it. But that does add another Dalsum to our mix over here. And yeah, I still think Dalsum has the potential to be one of the only characters without an OD wake up that can be considered one of the top characters. That's what happens when you lab combos, Psychodamo. He says, I lab combos in the game and I completely forget what they were and just go ham. That's how it works, man. There is something to be said about learning how to implement combos in an actual game. But there's a lot to that topic, by the way. So I would have to save that for a discussion all on its own one of these days. But yeah, you would imagine a character like DJ would be able to do really well against Dalsum, especially with that drive rush and such. But like I said, the Dalsum players are getting stronger. And the better you get at your character, it's very easy. It makes it easier for Dalsum to start to beat you up because they know what you're looking for and they can stop it a little bit more. But as you can see right there, Shaka 22 actually more with the offensive pressure at the end. I mean, look at the sequence at the end here. Like, okay, I'm in with the drill now. Drive rush combo, reset, pressure in the corner, confirm, kill. Corner pressure is the name of Street Fighter 6 right here. And even Dalsum can do it. So shout outs to Shaka, who adds another Dalsum into the mix here for Capcom Cup. And shout outs to them for getting F-Word to come here and actually be a guest commentator on their broadcast. Dookie and Shaka won last year as well. I mean, so Guhawk says in the chat, funny how, like in so many regions, the World Warrior and the online CPT qualifiers are a repeat from last year's. And yeah, I mean, again, you know, a lot of people have said stuff like, oh, wait till Street Fighter 6 comes out, because then you'll have to understand how to... Dude, look, if you're good at a fighting game, you're good at a fighting game, right? And so even though we've switched games, a lot of the players are the same guys going into Capcom Cup. And again, is that really a shock? It's not. It's not. So why is corner pressure so strong in the game? Factory Worker 1 asks. Largely because there's a lot of corner carry in this game. And then the corner is just dangerous in general, especially thanks to drive impact. But corner pressure has been really strong in this game and in Street Fighter 5 because once you're in the corner, it's just you have no ability to control your spacing from the opponent. They have the control of that, and so it's really a lot harder to play footsies while being in the corner. It's generally true for most fighting games. Even if you watch something like Strive, the corner is just absolutely a nightmare. So, you know, fighting games in general, the corner is a bad idea because you do not have the ability to increase the distance from the opponent, only decrease the distance, and that makes playing footsies that much harder by only having one direction to be able to change the spacing. So now we move to Central West over here with Totokai, who is obviously a very strong player, placed really high up at EVO this year. But he's going up against Destroy Gods! Destroy Gods, a Guile player, but both of them from Panama. And this is a matchup that should be in favor of Totokai here. Oh yeah, I remember now. They forgot to update the score until a little bit later, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's 2-2 right now. As you can see, Guile has a 2-win streak listed on his side. So I'm pretty sure he just... Yeah, there it is. 2-2. There you go. So Destroy Gods and Totokai. And like I said, this is a matchup that's supposed to be in favor of JP. But, you know, as we were watching the US East, you know, we saw Knuckledew able to take out Banana Ken. We've also saw Knuckledew take out Mena's JP. And then I was even told in the chat that Kaba believes Guile versus JP is actually 50-50. So before it was really JP's zoning that murdered Guile. But like I said, nowadays the zoning isn't what makes JP strong. We've kind of figured out the zoning aspect of JP now. So it's not as strong. So I don't think Guile suffers as badly. I'm not going to be as bold as Kaba to say it's even, but Kaba obviously would know better than me. But for sure, it's definitely not like a awful matchup at the highest levels. At intermediate and at strong levels, it's definitely going to still be a bad fight. And Totokai here gets a perfect here. So Totokai, I don't know if this was a bracket reset, if one of them is in the loser side, but you know, they're at final game, final round of this set in particular. And, you know, I saw Totokai at Puerto Rico for first attack, talked with him a lot there. He was pushing really hard to get into Capcom Cup, and looks like he's just about ready to do it right here. If he was in winners or loser side, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, Hibiki, Lily, yeah. Someone in the chat, Psychodamo, says the top player on CFN is a Lily player. That's Hibiki from Japan. He's absolutely insane. But look at this. Destroy Gods with the slow play here. Gets the hit. Confirms into the level 3. Doesn't quite catch up in life. But now, Totokai, the nerves are setting in here. Oh, that's 2,000 damage off of that throw. That's painful. Oh, everything's falling apart. Everything fell apart at the end for Totokai. Destroy Gods with the most appropriate handle right there does end up defeating Totokai, and so Totokai is still not qualified for Capcom Cup. We'll see if he decides to travel out to the United States to try to go for the last chance qualifier. But sure enough, Destroy Gods qualifies from Panama over Grand Totokai. Grand Totokai probably the favorite going into that tournament. I would imagine so. But yeah, ends up losing at the very end. So, and according to Guhak, it sounds like Destroy Gods has been dominating. So this definitely a deserved win. So perhaps Destroy Gods was the favorite going in here. It's one of the hardest things about being a commentator, Guhak. Guhak says in the chat, the commentators were heartbroken for Totokai, but of course elated for Destroy. It's one of the hardest things. You don't know how hard it was commentating EVO the previous year and not just being so sad for Idom when he lost to Kawano in grand finals. Like, it would have been so easy for me and David just be like, oh no, Idom, poor Idom, oh, I feel so bad for Idom, and like not give Kawano his props. But as a commentator, you got to do what you got to do. So you want to make sure you give the props to the guy who won and be excited for them. So it's definitely tough situation. So so the World Warrior for the region were 2 for Totokai and 3 for Destroy. Okay, makes sense. And now we go to Asia South over here. So this is where India is, for example. As you can see, Shadoken is from. Sianik. I think, what is that flag right there? Bangladesh. The Bangladesh flag. Nice. Okay. Thank you for that. Dang, Guhak is like the world knowledge guy here. We've got the geographer Guhak in the chat over here. Thank you very much. He has all the information. Appreciate it. But yeah, so Sianik with the Chun-Li going up against Shadoken with the JP. And one of the common things that we've seen here now, actually, if I can take the chance to go back for a second here, I just want to see something. So this one was Ken and Chun-Li. This one was Ken and Luke. This was Blanca and... Okay, so not as many as I remembered. I remembered a few JPs in grand finals, but I guess not as many as actually not many at all. Okay, so Totokai lost here, and then Shadoken with the JP. So the JP's been making it to grand finals a couple of times, but again, we haven't seen the pure dominance of JP as a lot of people have been kind of expecting. Any Aki in grand finals? No. No Akis in grand finals, unfortunately. Aki is going to need some buffs. But see Anik right now with the perfect in that first round. Jesus, that first round went so fast, I didn't even notice. Look at that, dude. That was only like, what, a 20-second round that she's going to get the perfect here in round number 1? So here we go, round number 1 of the final game here. So see Anik should be at 2-1 here. Yep, gets with the up kicks, punish, counter, throw, goes in for the pressure, gets the overhead into the combo, into the bird kick combo. Another throw, just goes for meaty into the overhead again. Literally was a 20-second perfect. And then so see Anik now immediately at match point against Shadoken, gets right past the ground spikes. And still hasn't gotten hit in this final game here. It's still basically almost a double. Okay, that's finally the first hit. Okay, so Shadoken now trying to get a little bit. But see again, JP, when you're trying to do the zoning, it's really a guess for JP where you're going to be. So he suspects that Anik is going to dash forward, so he throws the spike out in front. But because Anik doesn't do anything, that just gives him all these plus frames to dash here. Remember, if you're getting hit by every one of JP's ground spikes, that's your fault for being predictable where you're going to be. As long as you keep yourself tricky on where you are, it makes it so that it's harder for the JPs to zone you. So that's why the JPs have all gotten much stronger on the offense, because it's become more important. You see Anik right here literally burning himself out for the level 2 combo here. Goes for the lightning kick setup instead of the double jump. And yeah, oh, that's so smart. Gets the throw, gets another throw. Trying to chip out Shadoken right now. Shadoken with a last chance here. Gets the level 1. Yep, see, there we go. But then a beautiful jump. And again, just look at the sequence here from JP. He was right on 2 spikes in a row. He saw that Anik was going to stay in place. Then he threw one forward, and that, sure enough, is where Anik was going to be. But he tried to do another one, and Anik jumped. And that's what got him to win. The ground spike is a very dangerous thing to throw out, you know, like this, to try to control the zoning. And so that's why JP just hasn't had as much success recently, because we're starting to understand how to fight him a little bit better. It's when the JP starts to go on the offense and sets up all the gross mix-ups in the corner that I feel like JP really shines. But so we have a representative from Bangladesh, which is, again, super cool. Shout outs to the absolute World Warrior style of these qualifiers. I mean, to get players from all sorts of different regions like that is super neat. So I'm really happy for Anik. So hopefully he has a successful Capcom Cup. Hopefully he goes there and does some damage. And now we return back to the Salt Mine Leagues again for the Germany finals. This is going to be between Gigi Halibel and Random. Random probably being the strongest Manon, one of the 2 or 3 strongest Manons on the planet. It's like Idom and Random are basically like the 2 strongest Manons. I don't know who the strongest Manon in Japan is right now. I'm not sure. Let's see. I see. That's that is a copy pasta in my chat. Okay. But as you can see here, Gigi Halibel with the 2-0 lead over Random. So that'll probably give you an idea who ends up winning this one. And so as strong as you can be with Manon, still very difficult to, win it all the way at the very end. Obviously, Random looking strong here to start. I mean, we've seen quite a few Indian players for ICFC. So I would imagine they have a pretty decent number of players over there. I'm sure it's not quite as big as a lot of other places despite their population. But I'm sure they have a lot. Oh, that was a bait. Yeah, unfortunately. And so, yep, goes for the meaty fireball to beat any wake up level 1s. So Random now trying to make the comeback here. Going to get 4 medals, by the way. But then just eats a super to the face. Oh, I like that spin through the fireball. Woohoo! Random. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, I want to see the Manon do some work, but man. Yeah, if we can start building up more of the scenes from Africa, I think would be great. Which is why it was so cool that Varix from Senegal qualified for Arc Revo or Arc Tour finals by winning UFA just this last weekend as well. So we have a Senegalese representative. Oh, Random is burned out in the corner. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Oh, that'll work. Okay, okay. So Random not going down without a fight. Trying to stay in here to the best of his abilities. God, it's nice. Oh, he just got him with a raw overhead. That's brutal. Keoma. Keoma's been doing great. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. He's been playing Manon a lot too. But there it is right there. So Gigi Halibel is going to qualify from Germany. And again, that's on Salt Mine League over here. Just want to do something. Okay, so that's on Salt Mine League. And then from there, we jump to South America West, where W Falcon is going up against Nero the Boxer. I don't know which flag that is either. I don't know that flag. So Peru. Okay, there you go. Dude, do you just know what all the flags are, Guhak? Are you just like one of those people that just knows the flags? That's so useful, I swear. You think there's any chance someone could surprise everyone with a lily like Snake Eyes did with Geef? I mean, Hibiki has the best chance right now coming into this weekend in Japan. The only other Hibikis that the only other lilies that I really know of are Kichipa plays a little bit of Lily, but he does both Lily and Zangief. And then I know Combo Fiend has a good Lily, but I don't think he's competing in any of the events. And then Problem X used to have a Lily. David's really good at geography. Apparently there was this, when Wordle was the big fad, there was a Worldle, which just basically like showed you the shapes of countries. And you had to guess what country it was. And I think David would get it on his first try like every time. So I am geographically impaired, so I am bad with flags and stuff like that. So we've got Nero the Boxer and W Falcon, both from Peru, coming down to the final game. Now, Nero the Boxer, as you can see, is still on winner's side, but we have another situation here with JP going up against DJ. And, you know, interestingly enough, like it'd be like, haha, see, we stopped another JP from getting in. But is there any solace that we got a DJ in instead? Because DJ, that's a safe jump. Because DJ is clearly, I mean, his stock is rising. So like I said, I actually am tempted to rank DJ above JP these days at number 3. I think W Falcon went to CEO or Combo Breaker this year and made it pretty far. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Oh no, you just ate that jumping down light kick? Yep, drive rush just cool. Yeah, but DJ Army is coming in, man. Playing FIFA for 20 years will give you immense flag knowledge. It's a good point, actually. That's actually kind of neat. You just get used to seeing those flags. Nice drive impact. Okay. So there we go. Looks like things are going Falcon's way here, but of course, this is only round 2. Even if he takes this, he needs to take one more round. Look at all that chip damage. It's so scary. But DJ is never done, dude. DJ is never done, but does finally get killed by chip. And so Falcon at reset point. So he's trying to reset the bracket against Nero the Boxer. I guess it makes sense that Nero the Boxer would play DJ, because then you're Nero the Kickboxer. Gonna go into level 3. If it was scripted like WWE, they would have wrote Mike Ross gets Capcom Cup spot with this Lily. Maybe. I think maybe they might have made him fall just shy to make everybody sad. Oh, he just went for another up kicks? That's so disrespectful. But there you go. Nero does it with DJ. So he qualifies from Peru with DJ. And we finally get to the last World Warrior qualifier from this past weekend. Streamed on Smash Factor Gaming. This is World Warrior Mexico. And the grand finals came down to Uriel Velorio, who we have seen many times in the CPT Onlines, and Sol VNG, another player we have seen there many, many times. But this one is the matchup that we have all seen many, many times, which is Luke and Ken. However, Sol VNG rocking the modern Luke. The modern Luke. This might be the first modern player to have made a grand finals of World Warrior here. So Sol VNG trying to become the first modern player in Capcom Cup. Oh yeah, Sol VNG and Uriel Velorio are both very, very strong. I feel like I've seen both of them in like every CPT Online Mexico area, like for the last like few years. But you can't test the reactions of a modern player. Oh, nice! Uses the invul on the EXDP. I like it. Let's go. Oh no, he didn't move anywhere. Wait, what happened? That was so bizarre looking. Where's my mouse cursor? I can't find my mouse cursor. Here we go. So yeah, so what happened here was he tried to drive impact. I see. Yeah, it lost all of its momentum at the end. Modern Luke is very strong, Vodka Gabalski. He's actually very strong because level 1 super is 6 frames and has invul. And having access to that level 1 instantly is really, really strong. Oh yeah, we definitely don't have enough data about modern controls because a lot of people aren't using it as much. And so we're still a little short in terms of knowledge, which is why I don't think there's any reason to ban it or there's any impetus to think that the modern controls is cheap or broken. Seems like modern. So Tuhalu says, I've been seeing some tweets from Capcom about percentages of modern and classic players. Seems like modern has like 1/3 of the players, if that. So naturally going to be harder for one to win. Interesting. That's actually more than I expected, but that's still kind of neat though. I mean, that's a whole sect of players that we might not have had if it wasn't for modern controls. Of course, CPT Online was this weekend as well. I know this because I was there. This was for Asia Southeast. And sure enough, in a very similar fashion here, Chen already qualified for his World Warrior. So he's being the gatekeeper to Bravery here, also a Singaporean player. But because of that, and because Bravery went up against SKZ, who also used Cammy, that meant that Cammy was guaranteed to make it into Capcom Cup Finals. And that is actually the first Cammy. But Chen is still the ruler of the Southeast, still the ruler of Singapore. Remember, it was like 5 or 6 Singapore players in top 8. So Singapore clearly the strongest region in there. And then Chen is definitely the strongest player in that region. And so as a result, Bravery just did not have an easy time fighting against Chen. As you can see here, he was doing his best. Came really close here in this first round, but Chen ends up just beating him up anyway. So Chen technically double qualifies, but Bravery gets in by default via the fact that Chen is already in. What a perfect parry. That was so nice. Nice. All right. Okay, Bravery. Let's go. World Warrior, if I'm not mistaken, there's 26 World Warriors. So does that pan out right there? So that's 4 offline premieres, 18 online premieres. That's 22 plus 26 is indeed 48. So yes, 48 players from World War. And then he even goes for the fancy combo at the end. Chen ends up taking it. So yeah, so there we have it. To sum up, Lashard takes it with Chun-Li. And then Mirkin, after being gatekept by Phenom, makes it in with Luke. Mena RD takes it with Blanca over Knuckle-Doo. Uma qualifies with Jury over Chris Wong, who's already qualified. Fandroid loses to Big Bird, but Big Bird already qualified from CPT Online. So Fandroid makes it in with the DJ or the Ken. So Fandroid is DJ and Ken. Then Takamura makes it in with the Ken. And then Shaka 22, GS Shaka 22 makes it in with the Dalsim. Destroy Gods makes it in with the Guile over Totokai's JP. And then C. Anik from Bangladesh takes it with Chun-Li over Shadoken from India. Gigi Halibel takes it with another Ken over Random's Manon. And then Nero the Boxer takes it with DJ over W Falcon. And then finally, Sol VNG with Modern Luke over Uriel Valorio. And then also Bravery qualifies with Cammy. So that's the World Warrior, that's the Capcom Pro Tour recap from this past weekend alone. As someone in the chat mentioned, there was supposed to be another one. Let's see. Yeah, so Guhak says South Africa World Warrior Finals were supposed to happen this weekend, but there were power issues. So yeah, that tournament has not occurred yet. So that one will occur at some future time, and I am not 100% sure. And it looks like Miranda just took that out of her spreadsheet, and maybe we'll add it back at some point in time. Oh, I see. She has it listed at the top. Yeah, that was supposed to happen. Oh, okay. I think it's happening tomorrow. It might still happen tomorrow. Central America East. Central America East was supposed to happen today as well. Do we know about the Central America East here? But also Brazil is supposed to happen tomorrow. Central America East just happened. I wonder if we actually have the... Oh, that was Blink Esports, of course, of course. Blick Esports? What the hell is Blick Esports? Blink Esports. So let's see. Oh, they're Blink Esports RD, I think it is, aren't they? Blink Esports RD. Yeah. So they just finished. So their grand finals ended up being, let's see, this is grand finals. So we can watch this grand finals match together over here. But it looks like it's going to be Brian D versus Crossover. Aren't they both got... No, Crossover is a Ken player. That's right. So it ends up being Ken versus Guile over here. And they're at 1-1 in grand finals. And it looks like Crossover is on the winner's side. So it looks like Crossover is about to take a 2-0 lead potentially here over Brian D. And Brian D has been killing it in the World Warrior tournaments here. But Crossover trying to finish him off here. Yeah, just chips him to death. And so now Crossover is at tournament point. So Crossover uses Ken, DJ, and JP. Well, there you go. Only character doesn't play is Luke, huh? So here we go. Potentially final game here. I actually don't know what the last score is, so we'll just watch this match. This is actually new to me. Gets the overhead set up. You always have to watch out for that whiff jab after the run Tatsu in the corner, even mid-screen too. Dang, Crossover, dude, perfect KO against Brian D. So potentially here, Crossover now with double tournament point, double Capcom point. Now, this literally happened about a few hours ago, actually. How long has this been? 2 hours and 46, which started 4 hours ago. So that's about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Yeah, so this literally concluded about an hour and 15 minutes ago. It looks like with Crossover just completely dominating over Brian D with this scary, scary Ken corner pressure. Oh, I thought he was going to walk up and throw. I really did. But he gets the link, and there you go. Crossover has qualified. Now, the interesting situation with this is Crossover has qualified for Capcom Cup before. But he was unable to make it to Capcom Cup because of visa issues. We'll see if Crossover can actually make it over again this time. I hope he can, because it would be a shame if he gets frozen out of Capcom Cup 2 times due to visa issues. Hang on, I need some water. But if you can't make it, then Brian D will probably try to make it. He'll probably have to be the replacement at that point. But there you have it. So we have another Ken qualifying. And then, as I mentioned here, tomorrow we'll get South Africa, maybe. And then tomorrow we have Brazil scheduled. And then this weekend we will get the CPT Online Japan qualifiers, in which we're still going to see if Kakeru, Daigo, or Tokido can make it, or any of the other bazillion ones as well. Tomorrow is UK Ireland World Warrior number 5. Okay. Yeah, because their finals is going to be sometime in December. Unknown right now, but it's going to be played offline. So they're actually going to play it offline for their World Warrior finals over here. So if tomorrow is number 5 for UK Ireland, but in terms of qualifiers, tomorrow is going to be Brazil and maybe South Africa, and then Central America East. Yeah, she actually even wrote it down that it was live. So if I refresh this, does it actually? Nope, still has it live here. But yep, there you go. So congratulations to Lashar Mirkin, Mena RD, Uma327, Fandroid, Takamura, GS Shaka 22, Destroy Gods, Bravery, C Anik, GG Halabel, MK Nero the Boxer, and SolVNG for qualifying to Capcom Cup. And so there you go. That's all the that's basically everybody who's made it in so far. As for I see a lot of people asking for character representation. I will tell you. Let's see if Cat Cammy 6 has come up with a new chart here. So Cat Cammy came up with a new chart, but I don't think that includes crossover right now. I don't think that actually includes crossover in the chart right now. So that crossover might be missing. Let's see, that's 7 plus 12, that's 19, plus 23 plus 6 is 29. 29, 31 plus 6 is 37. So I have 37 here, only 11 qualifiers left to go. That makes it 48. So, no, I think only 10 qualifiers left to go, right? Because I don't think the sheet has the crossover on this list over here. But regardless, let's take a look at what the chart we have here at this point is. Oh, last chance qualifier. You're right. 10 plus last chance qualifier. Okay, makes sense. So here we go. The character that's represented the most is Luke. Oh, but that's right. I counted 37 here, but I've got to subtract 3. So there's 34 players who have qualified on this chart here. But that number 2 next to Luke's head over here indicates that he has 2 people playing him as a secondary character. 36 out of 48 players qualified. Okay, so there's 36 here then. And then, so I must have just did my math wrong somewhere. Regardless, 7 Lukes, 2 of them being secondary characters. So I don't know how you want to count that because obviously for someone like Mena, it's hard to argue which one is the secondary, although I think at this point Blanca feels like the primary. But we can probably say, just because he has 2 secondaries, that Luke, DJ, and Ken probably are all around basically 6 representatives. Then if you count crossover from today, Ken is going to be at the most with 7 pure players. And again, this seems right to me. This seems right. And then, of course, we also had 2 Chun-Li's qualify in that slew of videos we just watched. So she's out now up to 4. And so again, like, is JP actually kind of dropping even below Chun-Li? I don't know. There's only quote unquote 3 JPs. And there's 2 juries and 1 player with a side jury over here, which I believe is Travis Styles, because I think Travis Styles is mostly Chun-Li right now and has been slowly but surely kind of giving up on the jury. Like, I think he only busts jury out for very specific stuff here. But then afterwards, 2 Dalsums and 2 Guiles, and that makes sense here. What's interesting here is that, you know, there is a modern Luke down here, but if we don't count the difference between modern and classic, that means that there will be basically 7 Lukes here, if you count the 2 secondaries as half. So we have 7 Lukes, 1 being modern, 7 Kens, 6 DJs, 4 Chuns, and 3 JPs. The characters with only 1 representative, Zangief, I mean, we're lucky to even have that one thanks to Snake Eyes. Mariza's Big Bird, Rashida's Gachikun, Blanca's Mena RD. We just saw Bravery qualify with Cammy, and Sol VNG with the modern Luke. And then, yeah, Valmaster has a Kimberly, but he used to bust Kimberly out against Mr. Crimson, and he didn't this last time. So, yeah, I mean, I probably... It's just hard to say for a guy like Mena which is the primary and which is the secondary. But this is the trickiest part right here, obviously, is that 7 characters with no representation. And out of all those characters, Kimberly is the one that I'm most surprised about. I'm surprised someone hasn't made it with a Kimberly yet. But outside of that, you know, what do we have? We have Ryu, Jamie, Manon, Lily, Aki, and Honda, right? Honda's the other one that's kind of surprised. There's always the bottom 6. But Zangief made it in because of Snake Eyes. But the other 5 are all down here. With 0 Ryu, 0 Jamie, 0 Manon, 0 Lily, and 0 Aki, which is just unfortunate. So those are the characters that clearly need the buffs. And, I mean, while you're at it, buff Kimberly and Honda. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, Valmaster used to use Kimberly against Crimson all the time. But I don't think it was working, so I think that's why he went with the Chun-Li and ended up winning with Chun-Li. Ending Walker is still not in the tournament, not still in Capcom Cup. And even if he was, that might actually be a DJ because he has switched to DJ recently. Although at UFA it looked like he played the Ryu again, or did he play only DJ at UFA? I'm not sure. But I know he's switching to DJ a lot more now. It's not gaslighting for Kimberly buff, step back. It's actual direct pleading for Kimberly buffs, please. What's up, Black Tyler and Frail? Or actually, that's just Frey. Punk has not qualified yet. He has one last chance at the online Premier East, but he has to go up against Knuckle Dew and Idom. Mena RD said he's not going to gatekeep that. So since Mena RD just qualified with from the World Warrior, so that's Punk's last chance. I have heard people who have been on Punk's Twitch can confirm with me. This is the rumor that I heard, so do not quote this through any sort of respectful, as a respectful resource at all. But I have heard that if Punk does not win this World Warrior, the CP Online East, that he will not be traveling for the last chance qualifier. But I'm wondering if that's actually true. Last Chance Qualifier is going to be on the same week as Capcom Cup. So it'll be the weekend before Capcom Cup. And if you win, you got to stay for the whole entire week. Or maybe fly home and come back, but that would suck. But basically, Last Chance Qualifier is the weekend right before Capcom Cup. And then we move right on to Capcom Cup after a brief Street Fighter League intermission during the middle of the week. So... yeah, that's one of the hardest ones, is if you have to do that and stay for the week. That's a whole, that's a long period of time out there. So yeah, definitely rip wallet, basically, if you actually make that. So he said it on stream after World Warrior East, so he may change his mind. Who knows? Okay, so he did say it then. Punk is in the well, we don't know which are the championship teams from the Street Fighter League World yet. We don't know who won that yet. So we don't know which teams are going to be representing at Street Fighter League for the world side of things, for the US side of things. Necromancy Black says, not going to lie, Kim would be hell to fight if they gave her outright buffs. I mean, I just think if they just gave her an ODDP, that's enough. I think that's enough. I don't think that would make her impossible to fight against, and I think that would just make it so that at least she can survive in the corner, and that's it. And yes, that does mean that I also think Lily her ODDP should also be strike invul as well. And frankly, I wouldn't mind making Honda's EX headbutt throw invul. I'm totally down with that too. Obviously it has armor, so maybe not. I mean, people have suggested giving Honda the butt slam, make that throw invul, so he has to guess at least between the two. But I really do think that most characters need better ways to escape, and the characters who don't have that are just suffering way too much. Way too much. So, what about no ODDP, but they normalize her damage? I think she would still lose. I don't think the damage is going to be what makes or break Kimberly, to be honest with you. Because the problem is when you get trapped in the corner, you just die. Like, you literally have no way to get out of the corner. So it doesn't matter if she does more damage if she never hits you. If you put her in the corner and she just dies. So, yeah, it's really frustrating. So, I mentioned Sim can be top tier without OD Wake Up. I don't think he can be top tier, but I think he can be in the mix of things like Marisa. And that is just because Dalsum zoning is still very strong. Dalsum zoning, he probably has the best zoning in the game right now. Yes, better than JP's. And when you watch players like F-Champ play Dalsum now, I mean, it's like a pain in the butt to get in on him. So giving Dalsum an OD Wake Up might actually make him too strong. But it's an interesting balance for Dalsum. I don't think he'll be like Ken Luke tier until he gets without an ODDP, but I'm not sure that he needs one and needs to get that strong, because Dalsum is the kind of character that you're going to get the Dalsum experts playing him, and even if he is only 8th best or 7th best or 6th best in the game, you're going to get the expert Dalsums destroying everybody with that character. So if you gave him like 1 or 2 small buffs here and there, I think he'll be good enough. So teleport is not invul on the first frame. So he can't get out. Teleport is actually punishable on the first 3 or 4 frames, I believe, by hits and throws. So since Street Fighter V, actually, Dalsum, Street Fighter V, and Street Fighter 6, his teleport doesn't have true invul anymore. I think it's worse in this game than it was in 5. But that was just part of the whole nobody should have any kind of escape at all without meter. At all. So between 5 and 6, nobody has any invincible anything as an escape without spending meter. So that basically happened to Dalsum. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of that decision, although in Street Fighter 6, I mind it less because the OD gauge is something you gain back naturally and you start with a full meter. So you essentially start the round with the ability to escape with OD moves. I still prefer Street Fighters just having invincible moves overall, but it's just not the direction that the game has decided to go anymore. So, yeah, it's just not the way it works. I mean, to be fair, Third Strike had a lot of characters that did not have invincible DPs, like Ibuki and Dudley didn't have invincible DPs unless you spent the meter for EX as well. But they also had parries, so, you know, they also had parries, so it didn't really matter. Yeah, so Yeah, I honestly think if you just gave Kimberly and Lily, and frankly Aki, if you just made Aki's little command dash actually strike invul, so she just gets out of the corner, I like. Would she be broken? Would she be broken if she just had a free corner escape with that with the command dash? I mean, you could still bait it out and punt, like give it more recovery once it ends. Because right now, if it passes through you, it has no strike vulnerable frames, but it can be thrown. It still has throw invul frames. Just make it so it has a little bit more recovery at the end, but make it invincible at the start. I think that's fair. Like I said, Honda, you could give the two options of butt slam stops throws, and then for Manon, I keep saying like once she gets to like level 3, she should gain throw invulnerability on her command on her OD command throw, and then when she gets to level 5, she should just get like throw invulnerability even on her regular command throw, and so that way, you know, she doesn't have a strike invul, but now you're absolutely terrified to go and try to throw loop her, because if you try and she level 5 metals you with her own command throw, you're gonna lose this chunk of life, and it's not gonna be funny. It's not gonna be funny. It's fun. So I think that would be hilarious. And interesting enough, Jamie and Ryu have it, but they're still not considered very good. So. But the crazy thing is, like, I'm almost done. Everybody else has an OD wake up. The only ones that I haven't mentioned now are Marisa and Zangief. So honestly, like, there's really not much. There's not very many characters that don't have it. See, in Street Fighter V, only 4 characters at launch had invincible DPs. And that felt unfair to the giant chunk of characters who didn't have one. And so in Season 2, they just took it away from the 4 characters that had it. But in this game, most characters have ODDPs. And so rather than take it away from everybody, I would just give everybody the ODDP. Yeah, basically EX Wake Up. Remember, EX moves are called overdrive moves in this game because they use the drive gauge. So instead of EX, we call them ODs, basically. So I don't think it would take that much. So, her daily reminder, Rashid DP is frame 6 and Gotcha-kun qualified. I mean, to be fair, Rashid still works as a wake up really, really well. Obviously, if someone does the jump back punch to blow it up, that's great. But that just means that the threat is still there. So if the guy walks up and predicts an OD wake up spinning mixer from Rashid and does the jump back heavy punch with Luke and the Rashid does nothing, Rashid kind of now has carte blanche to try to get out of the corner. So it's really not that bad. Again, the ODDP is less about actually landing it all the time, but more at least you have that threat so that the opponent has to think about it more. Because keep in mind, when you have that ODDP, it's going to kill you almost as often as it is going to save you. I mean, we saw that Uma versus Chris Wong match, and Uma just baited out a couple of ODDPs and just murdered Luke for doing them. So it's not like it's a thing that's going to absolutely win you situations, but it is something that as long as the opponent has to keep in mind, it's such a powerful and useful technique. Yes, like Chupasaurus says, threat is more serious than actual use, for sure. Yeah, and Rashid's OD spinning mixer is crap for anti-air, but I think that's on purpose. I don't think they wanted it to be a good anti-air, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is a pretty good indication of the tier list right now. I really think that this is pretty accurate. If we count Luke as 6, thanks to Modern over here, and erase the secondaries, and then we give Ken 7 thanks to Crossover, we have 7 Kens, 7 Lukes and DJs, 4 Chuns, 3 JPs, 2 juries because 1 is a secondary, 2 juries, Dulcims, and Giles, and then 1 Geef, Manon, Rashid, Blanca, Cammy, And I only think that this is a little skewed thanks to Snake Eyes, because technically Zangief should be down here. But then the ones that surprise me the most are Honda and Kimberly, who haven't actually qualified yet. Do you think they'll fix Lariat for anti-air? Who knows, dude? Who knows? Yeah, Blanca's kind of an outlier because he's too low. Zangief is an outlier because he's too high. But outside of that, like, this is a really good representation of the tier list. And again, does this mean that these characters are too strong? Not too strong. They're stronger. And so with $1 million on the line, more people are going to use them and they're going to have more success because they are stronger. But that doesn't mean all the characters down here are whack. As, you know, people in the chat were mentioning, the number one player on ranked right now is still Hibiki's Lily. So Hibiki clearly could win, so. But yeah, this is the state of Capcom Cup right now. That should be 37 players qualified now. And so we only have, so 37 players qualified with 48 to go. So that's 11 left. So that's 10 more World Warriors and 1 LCQ. That's what we have right there. That's what we have at this point in time. So, yeah. So, interesting situation here. The character usage chart doesn't really surprise me. It's actually very, like, yeah, that makes sense. Yep, there's still online premieres left, and there's a couple of World Warriors left as well. So, did I say 10 World Warriors? I meant, so let me see. So Central America, I'm sorry, South Africa, Brazil, and Spain and Portugal still need to run. Theoretically, tomorrow Brazil is running. Not sure about South Africa. Spain and Portugal is running this weekend. And then everything else from then should be the online premieres from that point forward. Oh no, also UK and Ireland and China are going to run as well. So those are 2 more World Warriors that need to finish. So there you go. Japan. So according to Guhawk, Japan, Spain, France, Portugal, UK, US Midwest, and US East are the online premieres left. Thank you. Trying to make sure I pronounce Portugal correctly. Okay, so there you have it. That's the World Warrior recap for this week. That was a much longer recap because there was a lot more to recap. So thank you for sticking around and listening to this and watching this whole entire thing. Again, hope you enjoyed this on YouTube. I don't know if I'll do another recap because it's not this confusing from this point forward. But we'll see what happens. Unless you enjoy these kind of recaps, maybe I can just kind of do more as we go. But that's all I have here for the recaps. I've got very small things to talk about over there. If you are on YouTube, take a look to see if these kind of show up on the YouTube uploads. But I really do appreciate all the support that I've been getting on YouTube recently. So thank you guys, thank you viewers, and keep watching the videos. Keep working that YouTube algorithm for me. Throw in more comments in the chat. So hope you guys have been enjoying that. But for those of you here on Twitch, don't go anywhere. More content to come. But on YouTube here, you know the drill. You guys know the drill. The day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.